Now on CoastTV News.
Route 24, Costco, and Target. Documents show these stores could be coming to Lewis. Empty lifeguard stands in Ocean City. The days are dwindling until the guards are all gone.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Brandon Ferguson. Welcome to CoastTV News Midday. On your screen now is the area of where the proposed Atlantic Fields project could go. The project is on the corner of Route 24 and Mulberry Knoll Road. And now on your screen you see the renderings of what this area could become. Documents submitted to Sussex County Planning and Zoning say plans call for a 695,000 square foot shopping center and would include a Target and a Costco. And with that Costco, an attached gas station would also be on site. And the actual Costco warehouse would be a 175,000 square foot building. A Whole Foods is also slated for the proposed retail center, and 23 separate buildings in total could go there. Now, in order for this land to transform to that massive retail center, it first must be rezoned. Right now, the land is an agricultural residential district that must be changed to a C4 commercial district for the proposed project to move forward. According to Sussex County's land use application docket, the Planning and Zoning Commission will discuss this land on September 17th, and on October 21st, this topic will go in front of Sussex County Council. For a full article on this proposed Atlantic Fields project, you can head right now to coasttv.com. We are now going to take a live look out into a beautiful site there in Rehoboth Beach. People enjoying the beach, and bring in our first alert meteorologist, Bob Trihey, for a look at the weather. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Brandon. I see a lot of folks on the beach, but not in the water. But I tell you, the summer heat and humidity is kicking into high gear. We've got 70s and low 80s out there right now. 81 Ocean Pines, 80 in Georgetown, Lewis 79, and even lower 80s from Rehoboth to Bethany Beach. Dew point temperatures still in the comfortable range, but they're starting to creep up now. Some places in the low 70s. So it feels like temperatures in a lot of cases low to mid 80s, and I think we'll be feeling like 90s later on as we're looking at a southwesterly breeze right now, and that will continue to ramp up through the day. Nothing to see on the satellite picture. It's nice and clear, lots of sunshine as we're in the southwesterly flow. Some clouds to our north and west along a stationary front. A stronger front across the Midwest could bring severe weather tomorrow evening. But here is Futurecast at noon. Low to mid 80s inland, 70s and 80s at the coast, and that's where it'll be especially breezy this afternoon with 70s and 80s there. Mid to upper 80s well inland, and a pretty warm evening on the way. Maybe some clouds increasing. Feels like temperatures low 90s inland and 80s at the beaches, so stay hydrated with water with the summer heat, and upper 80s today. Another day in the upper 80s tomorrow. Then we have a yellow alert for the potential of some strong to severe storms tomorrow evening. Much more on that coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. Post-Labor Day in Ocean City, a number of the town's lifeguards have returned to school, leaving the beach patrol with a limited staff. According to the patrol, only a third of their staff remains at this point. Due to those staffing numbers, they say the distance between the lifeguard stands could increase to more than 800 yards or a half a mile. That is something one beachgoer told us he's keeping in mind.
If you're going in the water, I believe they should be here. You should be here with the lifeguards. If you're a really good swimmer, but you never know with the currents.
The Beach Patrol recommends to only swim in front of a lifeguard stand. This morning, they are reporting 24 lifeguard stands are staffed for the day. A fire in Salisbury killed 2 people earlier this morning. According to the Maryland State Fire Marshal, the Salisbury Fire Department say they responded to a house fire around 2 a.m. that originated from the living room in the home. They say it could be a possible accidental cause, and no smoke alarms were located in that home, and this fire is still under investigation. In Cambridge, a suspect is dead after he was shot by a police officer. It took place just after 5 last night. Let's show you where this occurred. According to Cambridge police, officers responded to the Deep Harbor development around Seaway Lane and Riverview Wharf. They say were reports of a man chasing a woman with a knife. And here is what we are now learning from the Cambridge Police Department. Officers found the man and tried to de-escalate the situation. They say he refused and made his way towards officers. According to police, after several warnings, an officer shot the man. Life-saving measures were then taken. The man was flown to Tidal Health Peninsula Regional Medical Center in Salisbury, where he later died. This is a developing story, and we will provide you updates when more information becomes available. Happening this afternoon, members of Delaware's congressional delegation will get a first-hand look at the Indian River Inlet damage from high surf conditions over the last few weeks. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is scheduled to show Senator Chris Coons and Representative Sarah McBride the restoration projects along the bridge and beaches. The Army Corps is using over $8 million in state and federal money to replenish and protect the inlet and Route 1 from big storms. Elon Musk's fortune may be headed to a whole new level. How a proposed pay package may do that. But first, Milford road closures, why drivers will soon need to find another route. On your screen now is Griffith Lake Drive between Williamsville Road and Meadowbrook Road Lane in Milford. DelDOT says this area will close later this month due to painting over the bridge over Griffith Lake Spillway. That work starts on September 16th and is expected to wrap up by mid-October. A heads up if you still receive a check in the mail for your federal benefits. The Treasury Department is phasing out its use of paper checks for Social Security payments at the end of the month. The plan will also impact the use of paper checks for veteran benefits and tax refunds. Those benefits will get paid out electronically, and the government says paper checks are costly and more vulnerable to fraud and theft. You can sign up for a direct deposit. The Treasury also offers Express Direct Debit MasterCards if you prefer them.
We're heading into the weekend feeling a lot like summer. Live look into Laurel right now. Beautiful blue skies, 81 degrees. We're headed for the upper 80s this afternoon with the summer heat and humidity continuing to increase today into Saturday. Then a threat for severe weather Saturday evening with a yellow alert. More on that coming up. Congratulations to Jim Schmitz from Milton on winning a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV. I'll have your full forecast coming up after the break. It'd be nice if we could take the weekend weather, the weekend temperatures, and put them back to last week for Labor Day, but you know, we can't do that. Of course, it was a cool Labor Day weekend. This one's going to start out warm to hot. Tunnel and Razor Cam, lots of blue skies. It looks just gorgeous out there. Unlimited visibility, 84 degrees, and we're headed into the mid-80s along the coast. And if you are headed to Salisbury tomorrow, join us for the Shore Living Expo at the Wicomico Civic Center from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. All your Coast TV news personalities will be out there, and we'll be giving away some merch as well. We're looking at very warm conditions tomorrow. Make sure you dress for summer. Upper 80s by 2 p.m. At least there'll be a breeze, and we do have a threat for storms as we go into the evening hours. More on that coming up. But today through Saturday, it's warm and breezy. Highs in the 80s to close to 90 tomorrow. Feels like temperatures low to mid 90s, so make sure you stay hydrated with water. And we do have that threat for strong storms tomorrow evening with the yellow alert. Then Sunday, lots of clouds and a little cooler with highs into the 70s. And right now, look at the temperatures, low 80s from Salisbury to Georgetown. Milton right now 82 with 81 in Bethany Beach and Rehoboth. And dew point temperatures starting to creep up through the 60s and 70s, indicating that it is getting a little uncomfortable and feeling like low to mid 80s with the feels like temperatures. As we have a southwesterly breeze, not too strong right now, but that'll pick up into the afternoon as we're looking at a lot of blue skies. Just beautiful conditions across Delmarva. If you're traveling up into the northeast, looking quiet there, and back into the Carolinas as well. There's one front back through Pennsylvania in the Ohio Valley. That one's kind of weak, but there's a much stronger one across the Midwest, bringing the season's first snowflakes into Minnesota and Wisconsin. It's this front that could give us that chance of severe weather tomorrow evening. So Futurecast this afternoon, mid-80s at noon. By 3 p.m., upper 80s, winds picking up, maybe up to about 30 miles per hour at the coast with 70s and 80s for you. And maybe a little bit of low cloudiness as we go into this evening. Otherwise, we're in good shape if you're heading out for your Friday evening. Temperatures in the 70s. Saturday morning, it's a mild start with low 70s. And then by tomorrow afternoon, some lower 90s showing up. Inland areas, 70s and 80s at the coast. Then we're watching for showers and storms building in as we go into Saturday evening. Be weather aware. Could see some very heavy rain, maybe large hail and damaging winds. Here's 10:30 tomorrow night from Millsboro to Selbyville and Point South. Maybe very heavy rain, and that would be beneficial rain. And then we head into Sunday, and the winds turn to the north, and it's cool. I don't think a lot of places will get out of the 60s with the drizzle. Maybe some light rain and maybe even some low 70s if you see some sun poking through. We have a marginal low chance of severe weather from Easton to Crisfield, Salisbury, and Dover as we go into tomorrow evening with damaging winds and large hail. Feels like temperatures away from the beaches today in the low 90s, feeling like mid 90s tomorrow. So make sure you stay hydrated. Take it slow in the heat. 88 in Milford today in Harrington, 86 in Laurel, Eastern Shore, Easton 83, Vienna 88 with 81 in Crisfield, Snow Hill, and Ocean City at 88 degrees. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 89 on Saturday, and then the yellow alert into the evening hours for the possibility of damaging winds and large hail. Then Sunday, cloudy, cooler 72. Sunday night football, the Ravens take on the Bills. And then into next week, it stays dry with temperatures in the mid 70s and overnight lows into the 50s.
Thank you, Bob. And like you mentioned, it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow for the Shore Living Expo. The event celebrates health, wealth, and home on Delmarva. The free family-friendly event takes place tomorrow, Saturday, September 6th, at the Wycomico Youth and Civic Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Happy Friday, Coast Life, and as you're planning out your weekend events, we've got some more details for you about our Shore Living Expo. Also, because it's Friday, look at these sweet little faces. Well, they are a bonded pair, and they are ready to go home, and maybe your home is the perfect place for them. We're also going to be chatting with some folks about why now is a great time to buy an electric vehicle. If maybe that's been something you've been thinking about, you've been on the fence, off the fence, well, maybe this is the last little piece of information that you need to complete that puzzle. All that fun and more is happening today at 4 on Coast Life.
Who wants to be a trillionaire? Me and probably quite a few of you watching. But one man could actually get there. Elon Musk, he's already the world's richest man, and his path to becoming the world's first trillionaire could become clearer if Tesla's proposed pay package for him goes through. The package could grant Musk 423.7 million additional shares of Tesla stock. Those shares would be worth $143.5 billion at today's value. Musk would get those shares only if the value of Tesla's stock increases significantly in the coming years. And we'll be right back here on Coast TV News Midday with how you can prevent dehydration. That's next. It's an essential part of overall health and well-being, but experts say people often associate staying hydrated with the summer because of the weather. But every time you sweat or go to the bathroom, water is lost, and replenishing it is important year-round. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has ways to work hydration into your fall routine.
Yes, it's important to stay hydrated in the heat of summer, but drinking water is still critical to your health, even as the seasons change.
When you get really dehydrated, the blood volume is lower, and that's going to lead your heart to have to beat faster to circulate enough oxygen to your body.
Dr. Glenn Hirsch with National Jewish Health says that can put a lot of stress on the heart, especially in those who are more vulnerable from underlying medical conditions. Water helps the body keep a normal temperature. It also lubricates and cushions joints, protects the spinal cord and other sensitive tissues, gets rid of waste through sweat or going to the bathroom.
Also, when the blood volume is down, you still have the same number of cells in your blood, so the viscosity in the blood will go up, and that can even lead to the blood pressure going up.
With fall events coming up, Hirsch says dehydration can creep up on you. To focus on fall hydration, he recommends pre-hydration. Start drinking at least 3 hours before you'll be in the sun or on your feet, and sip it throughout the day. Next, Hirsch says to limit alcohol and caffeine, which speed up fluid loss. If you choose to consume those beverages, make water your go-to drink in between. And finally, replenish those electrolytes.
And that can be by eating salty food like chips or electrolyte drinks, or even some of those supplements you can put into your water. Because at some point, if you're only drinking pure water and you're sweating a lot, your sodium level is going to drop, and that can actually be dangerous.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
We have gorgeous weather heading into this weekend. Look at all the sunshine and ocean view, 83, and it's pretty muggy out there as well, heading to the mid-80s, upper 80s inland. The heat and humidity continues into Saturday. Then our focus shifts to the potential for strong storms into Saturday evening, then a cooler and cloudier Sunday. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone. Your forecast is a call away. Sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico. Your 10-day forecast is next.
The Eagles did their part last night. Now it's the Ravens' turn. Sunday Night Football is back. You can watch the Baltimore Ravens take on the Buffalo Bills right here on Coast TV starting at 8:20 Sunday night.
And Brandon, thankfully, they won't have to dig out the stadium. No lake effect snow in Buffalo. We're looking at our day part forecast closer to home. Upper 80s this afternoon. At least there will be a breeze, but it's going to feel like 90s with the humidity. Lower 90s inland, 80s at the coast. Here's your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. Saturday, 89. And then we're looking at evening storms. I did put up a yellow alert for the potential of hail and damaging winds at that time, so keep that in mind. Then Sunday, cloudy and much cooler, 72. And Sunday Night Football's got the Ravens and the Bills, as we just mentioned. And then next week, mid-70s. The problem is no rain. A mix of sun and clouds and overnight lows into the 50s.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Midday. For more news and local weather, you can download our Coast TV News app. Don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.